there is something here. I feel it. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have made these choices if I didn't know that there is like a fire burning behind me with this YouTube channel, with this work, with what we're talking about. This is really, it just feels incredibly important. It's important to me, but I think it's so important to people, and maybe now more than ever. Yeah. Have you ever wondered what your life would look like if you left the job that you hate and built a life around who you really are and what you actually want? Same here, and I'm now 1 year into that decision. I created this channel to share every piece of this journey. The messiness and the discomfort of leaving behind an old identity that doesn't fit anymore in pursuit of something truer, so that if and when you also ever feel like taking a similar risk in your life, you feel a little less alone, a little more empowered, and have a little more insight into the general arc of how that might unfold for you too. So if that interests you, hit the subscribe button and follow along so you don't miss any new updates. I left my corporate job last year after being well aware for a couple years that I was not passionate about corporate sales. I've always known I was wired to do things my way. I just never really understood what that thing was. A friend of mine started a YouTube channel and it inspired me to try long form content. And I set up a camera one day and, well, the rest is history. Eventually making the hard decision to leave my corporate job, I moved across the country back with family, which was something I never in a million years would have believed was going to happen, but it did, taking me back to the root of all my pain, all my trauma, so that I could differentiate from who I thought I was, which was created by who I had to be in my family. For me personally, that was the scapegoat, the black sheep, the rebel, the bad kid, and reclaim that on my terms and say, no, I get to define who I am around here, and I get to define what I'm building my life around, the values that drive my life. They don't have to be aligned with the family's. They're not. That's a lot of the time not as simple as just saying those words. It takes months, if not years, to reach a nervous system state where it's even safe enough for you to even realize that within yourself in such a layered, integrated way. It required me to go back, reenact trauma with my parents. Basically, my body said no more, and this is not who I am anymore. Very shortly after that all came to a head, I stumbled upon a very random work exchange opportunity all the way in the Olympic Peninsula. So I flew across the country to Washington State and found myself in a very weird environment that did not feel like safety. It felt like, oh yeah, that authority you reclaimed with your family, you have to do that again, but here. So in an environment that was aiming to extract everything it could out of me, out of my labor, that's exactly what I did. Despite not realizing how much leverage I had, and for quite a bit of that time, fearing homelessness in a very real way. And then I actually stumbled upon money that I had sitting aside that I never consciously took responsibility for, and realized, oh wow, I can leave. Then I moved to my new city, and it's been a month now since I've arrived. I've been looking for work here locally, and things are finally starting to build traction. I can see the floor really being built beneath my feet. I've also been dating since I got here, which is very much a pivot from anything since I've been on this channel. Dating was not at all a focus this past year. And kind of for a while. I dated for a bit when I was still in San Diego. There was one particular person who crushed my heart, but also was a major catalyst for my growth. After that, nothing really stuck, and that's when things started to kind of erode in just my life in general there, and I realized I'm not meant to be building anything here anymore. Like, there's a dissolution happening. Every single thing served its purpose. It all helped shift things inside of myself. It helped me push me to the edge. If things weren't so chaotic with my mom when I differentiated and I said, I'm not going to perform for you anymore, I'm going to be who I actually am, and you can either meet me there or not. The chaos at the house required me to move, and yes, of course, I landed somewhere that wasn't good for me, wasn't ideal, but being somewhere that wasn't good forced me to leap somewhere into the unknown where I had to catch myself. And that's the first time in my life I think I've ever really leaped without anyone else's hand. as this person now who's actually not only reliant on myself actually, but who's also got this inner structure and this inner sense of direction, that has me showing up very differently in relationships, but especially romantic relationships, than I ever have before. Because before this phase, before I started the YouTube channel, when I was just coasting along in corporate sales with all this empty space outside of myself and within myself, I was looking for direction then. Nothing good comes from dating when you don't have direction. Self-defined, self-authored direction. Because what I did was I orbited around people and basically got identity from relationships, oftentimes with people I didn't even know that well. But now what's happening is I have my life. My priority is this channel, making sure I have money to pay rent and take care of my dog. Adulting 101. You may say, why are you learning this now? There's just a difference in what's more like how conscious all of it is, how integrated all of it is. I was not necessarily owning that because I didn't feel as in control of my life because I was dependent on this job. I just think I'm attracting people who also have more direction, or at least have done work on themselves and are a little more conscious, a little more intentional. And it definitely is just a very different phase of dating in general for me. I am just taking my time, and I'm actually I'm grounded enough in my own life and my own self that it's quite difficult to not just simply observe. I think I also used to get very swept away in my emotions and in my fantasy of what could be, or who someone was, or who I wanted them to be. Every other circumstance in my life right now literally demands me to be so soberly rooted in the moment that nothing and no one is exempt from that same level of scrutiny. This is the life I'm building. Is this person going to be a supportive figure in my life while I do that? Or is this person going to be distracting? These are the questions that I'm now asking, which are really healthy and important questions to be asking yourself when dating. So now it's okay, I'm showing up in my wholeness, in my fullness. And that doesn't mean I'm healed fully, but it does mean that I'm not in a position anymore to hide. I'm gonna be seen in all my flaws and all the stuff that maybe my younger, more wounded self would have, or did everything she could to contain and suppress. And it comes in waves, that vulnerability, that fear, but most of the time I think I feel pretty grounded because I just come back to what I'm focused on. At the end of the day, I know that any relationship that is meant to work out is going to stick around. The more that I lean into who I am, the more that I speak my truth, the more that I follow my path. And it is so true. You're going to repel who's not meant to be on your path. You're going to expose what won't work so much quicker. If you like the way I think, if you like the fact that I'm however many steps ahead on a similar path that you could see yourself on soon, or are about to start, or already are on, and you want some feedback, you want to brainstorm, you want to just have some support and someone who gets it. For now, we're calling it thinking sessions, clarity sessions, perspective session. I don't really know, but you get the point. Check out the link below, and I'm here for you if and when it feels aligned. And again, if you like this video and you're curious where the future is going to take me, I have barely even expressed my vision for the channel and where I hope that this will go. My dreams are big. My vision is probably bigger than I even consciously comprehend. And this will make me cry because I know there is something here. And I feel it. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have made these choices if I didn't know that there is a fire burning behind me with this YouTube channel, with this work, with what we're talking about. I hope you join this journey with me. And I am sending you so much love. I hope to see you here soon.